on? It is IpodAppsEverywhere. Blah 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 blah. This is gonna be a really quick comparison video. To be completely honest, the iPad 2 versus iPad 3 is the bigger deal, whereas the iPad 1 you can't even buy that from Apple anymore. So it goes iPad 1, iPad 2, iPad 3, straight chronological order. Pretty standard, pretty simple. I'm going to show you the completely different graphics from the iPad 1 to the iPad 2 to the iPad 3. The only game I can really find that shows really good differences is Real Racing 2 HD. They did update the one for the iPad 3, so it looks phenomenal. So onto that whole graphics sort of comparison. I'm not going to do the whole like whether or not you should buy this or this. Onto the sort of graphics comparison. Woo! So this is the iPad 1 version. Already you can see the problem that this game is having running on an iPad 1. The sluggish, oh god. Oh jeez. Oh boy. What a difference. Alright, so this is the iPad 1. I don't remember the core or whatever chip they have in this, but it's not that fast. It's pretty slow. This iPad already is pretty old. And you can see right in the car detail that everything is just pixelated, ugly. Just I think that the camera might be a little bit better, but everything is just It's pretty ugly, I have to say. Let's see if we can spot the differences. So in this little video, you see the shadows kind of funky looking. It looks very flat almost. There's not much detail, there's not much depth to it. And we'll see how they improve that in the iPad 2 later. Let's just do a really quick race. In terms of gameplay, I would say that this iPad is not really built to handle such games as this. It's quite slow, clunky, and overall just not really that good at gaming. And as we can see, even the taillights, they seem to be just like plastered on. There's not much detail whatsoever. The colors aren't that great. It's very pixelated around the corners. Once you start turning, the road becomes all pixely. It's just kind of ugly, really. It doesn't ruin the experience per se. I mean, if you don't really mind this kind of weird pixely looking thing, it works okay. It's a little bit slower. There are some lag issues once in a while I discovered. But overall, yeah, there is going to be definitely a difference. The detail in the car itself is where the most astonishing, you know, kind of flat-looking, ugly-looking thing is. The Volvo sign's not that detailed. The taillights again are kind of just like painted on. It looks like they're just like a picture plastered over the car. Very, you know, it's a if you can deal with it, great. I can't personally. So let's move on to the iPad 2. Now, the leap from the iPad 1 version of this game to the iPad 2 version is monumental. The iPad 1 version looks like a blown-up iPhone version of this game on the screen. Very pixelated, very ugly. This game, or this game on the iPad 2 looks beautiful compared to the iPad 1. Now, there are very small details that have a little bit of pixelation, but it's very hard to tell, especially through a camera, probably through a monitor. So I'm going to try and do the best I can. In terms of gameplay, this I can't even tell you. Going back to the iPad 1, what a slow device compared to this one. Let's see. Let's go back. Let's actually race. Now we'll see just how perhaps little the jump between the iPad 1 and iPad 2 and iPad 3 is. Hold on. Okay, so here we are racing. Do a little racing. I don't know if you can but as you can see, the graphics look great. I honestly have no complaints for the way this game looks on the iPad 2. Sure, the loading might be a little slower. Sure, there might be some pixelation. Sure, you know, the shadows don't appear as crisp. Sure, the car doesn't literally pop off the screen. But it's a really good looking game. They've done a great job. Let's crash into this guy. Now again, I'm going to try to make this HD or 1080p to show you, to see if you can actually see the differences in the screen. We'll have to wait until I actually start editing the video to see what the differences are. But again, compared to the iPad 1, what a monumental leap. Yes, great job Apple, great job for whatever this company, Real Racing 2 HD, for really upgrading the graphics and stuff like that from the iPad 1 to the iPad 2. It shows you just like the graphical horsepower of the iPad 2, of the dual cores compared to the iPad 1. Great, fantastic. Now we see what, great, right? Point of the video over. No, we still got one more iPad. So let's just finish this race. And I think after this one I'll show you Infinity Blade 2 comparatively between the iPad 1, iPad 2, and iPad 3 if the video is not too long. So there you have it. That's the iPad 2. Let's see what the iPad 3 looks like, shall we? So this is the iPad 3, 3rd generation. Right, the title screen looks really, really nice. First of all, I've looked at the color differences, the camera quality differences. The color in this iPad is phenomenal. I don't know, of course they advertise that they have created some new technology with the screen and whatnot to create a much nicer looking screen and color range. And I gotta say, they do a great job. Let's actually just go back to the race. Alright, so here we go. Let's see if we can spot the differences, huh? It's like Find Waldo. Already, I think you can see that there's an astute, there's a noticeable difference between the cars and how they're portrayed on the screen. I'm doing an awful job. Maybe turn the brightness up. I can tell you in person that there is a difference. At everything just pops right off the screen. My lord, is this pretty. The colors are brighter, bolder, deeper. Everything looks crisper, cleaner, much more. It looks there. It's as if the car is right in front of me. That was kind of silly sounding, I know. So great. iPad 3, yes, quad core does something. It does really improve the graphics on the car. I can't explain to you the color difference, the boldness, the sharpness of the car. It looks great. Oh my god. I want this one. Yeah, sure they did a great job between the iPad 1 and iPad 2. The iPad 3, the quad core, it does wonders for this game. Fantastic. Woo! And of course it loaded faster, everything was a little bit quicker, a little speedier, a little bit more responsive. Perfect. Alright, great. Cool, cool, cool. Alright, now that's the graphics comparison. So there is a noticeable difference. They did a great job with that. Let's move on to camera, shall we?